much. It was mid-70s, 1975, 6, something like that. We lived in Camden, Mike and I and 5 kids.
Wow.
The kids all went to Sunday school, but not that I wanted them to learn about God. I wanted to make my feet so I could get peace. At least I got a couple hours on a Sunday to get rid of the kids. It didn't matter where they went. And it was Phyllis Smith, Phyllis Douglas, Phyllis that came and took the kids away. That gave me time to do things that I couldn't do when the kids were there. So I loved that. And then Michael and Amory, they were the oldest ones. Then this horrible thing happened. We had a fire, terrible, total loss fire. You could stand on the pavement and see the back garden. Nothing.
Oh dear.
I had been painting the hall and the stairs, well, not far up the stairs, and Mike had been at the football and hadn't long come in. Anne-Marie was at a Christian Endeavour meeting. Michael was at, I think, the Sea Cadets. They were all doing something. And there was the little ones in the house. But the fire started they recorded them, I suppose they still do. It was 6 minutes past 8. But by 8:30 there wasn't a flicker. The fire flames were away, but so was the house. Was the thing. So we lived with my mum, who had a house in Forker Avenue, and it was really like an Oxfam outfit somewhere, because we lived, there was rows of cardboard boxes, boys' jumpers, girls' socks pants, girls' dresses. There wasn't enough furniture and stuff, because there was all of us staying with my mum, who had her and my dad, and I think Karen was still at home, and Mally. It was just like an outpost somewhere. So, and dinners where Mum cooked, and you sort of stood in a row and went round with your plate, out in one door and out the other, and we lived like that. Then we got a house, this one. But they offered us one before it, and it was in Abbey View. Not that I didn't want Abbey View, not because of Abbey View, but because it was a flat in the middle. And I thought, I can't take 5 children to live in a flat with people below that's not used to that. And they've lost everything. I don't want them to lose their friends. And it was just not long after Christmas. They lost all their Christmas toys. They lost everything. And didn't want to move. So we had to wait another few weeks, and they offered us this one, which had a football pitch down the side for the boys. It was just glass, and it had a garden shed, and that was a shop or a hospital or whatever the girls wanted it to. It was just perfect. So when we all moved up to here, there's a grand exodus from Camden, and people were so kind. And people, after I had become a Christian, how can you believe, look what God did to you? Their favourite say, God did that, God did. I said, God didn't do any of that. Well, what? You can't see it. I said, yeah, it happened. He allows it to happen. And then she says, why it happened. You can't see God in that. I said, I saw God in that half an hour after it happened, but I hadn't thought about God in my life up till then, because I was managing fine. Thank you very much. Didn't need help. I'd had these kids this house. I didn't need anybody. And then it's all taken away, and you need everything. And no person or street or little town can give you everything. What do I do? What can I do? And my head was all over the place. And then I thought, this isn't real. It started after we were at my mum's, and it was through the night of the fire. And it was through the night the door went. The neighbours had gone round the doors and things, and there was over £200 collected. That was a lot of money in the 70s, a lot of money now. And an old couple that lived 2 doors up from us, oh God bless them, they were an old couple. Not as old as I am now, but they were old. They must have been about 80s as well. And they sent a box of groceries, because we had the kids in the morning. It was cornflakes and bacon and sugar, and lovely of them. And Dot West, she lived along a bit. She was a member in the church as well. Dot West was my age, so wee. She had 2 girls, roughly the ages with Anne-Marie and Biddy, so she sent clothes for them. Mr. Boylan, he sent clothes and shoes for Mike. Don't know what size they were, but he wore them. Because nobody even had clothes for the morning. And Rosemary sent clothes for me, and Rosemary was tiny. I think she might have been 5 foot. If she stood on a chair, because she's tiny. And little. So of course the skirts that she sent for me were just mini skirts, and jeans were halfway up my legs, but this was all I had. I had to. People were so kind. People were that kind that it ended up, there was boxes with mountains of clothes and gifts, and because it had just been Christmas and the kids had lost all their Christmas presents, gifts were arriving. So God was giving back everything to the kids. Even the kids they got over the fire, and they didn't know the seriousness of not having clothes and not having shoes and not having clothes to put on to go to school. Oh my God. They didn't know that, but they did lose their toys. And Anne-Marie had got a guitar and she was learning to, and there was a music shop in Dunfermline. They sent down a lovely guitar and carrying case, and that was lovely. And a doll for Biddy. She got one that talked. You held his hand and it walked and talked. And she got that. The boys got cars and boys' things. You're not allowed to say that now. It's everybody's things. Cars for boys or girls. So there was so much of everything, and I had to phone. My dad had a friend in the Salvation Army, Bill Lorimer or Jim Lorimer, somebody or other. His friend in the Salvation Army, and I had to get him to come with a van to take away a load of clothes and boxes and shoes and stuff.
But you didn't need stuff. Extra stuff.
It was just extra stuff, and it still kept coming. So I just phoned, and I think it must have been 5 or 6 times we phoned Bill to come and get this and take it to the Salvation Army, because we had got just too much. And then.
And did you know, do you mind me asking, at that point, were you a Christian? Or
No.
So this was leading up to it.
And I'm thinking, people scooting in, I'm thinking, why are they so good? And then, so it all happens at one time. The WEC team arrived while all this turmoil was going on. While it's going on, turmoil in my life, it didn't end. It's still going, work in progress. So the WEC team came. Is it World Evangelistic Campaign, something?
Was it WEC or YWAM?
WEC, it was WEC, yeah,
WEC.
Rising,
Okay,
yeah.
wonderful.
So they came, and the kids went, of course. And you have to come, Mum, you have to come. They want the parents. I thought, I'll go. Loved it. So I thought, I loved that. went the next night. I think they were on, might be in a week, might be in a fortnight. And I went every night and I loved it. So,
What did you enjoy about it, Alice?
the music.
Music.
Didn't listen to most of what they were saying, the music, I liked the music. But then when you start singing the little songs, and the songs, it's words, and the words started to make sense, and about God supplying my needs, not my wants, my needs. He'll give you, and
You heard that?
pray with, and this was all in music. Nobody spoke it. It was in a song. He'll supply all your needs, not your wants, but your needs. And I thought, I got more than my needs. I got enough needs for half the 5. So, and I like that. Then they had it was a coffee evening, a coffee morning, or that's something that the wet could do. Went to that, loved that. And then while this is all going on, Isabel and Ian lived in the big high flats, right opposite the church. Isabel and Ian Garrett. So of course I was friends with Isabel. We sort of grew up together, but I was a lot older than her when we lived in Kings Road. So of course we were friends, and then I found out, and Isabel invited us, I think, because she would have been at the wake thing. And she did, it was like not a coffee morning, a little gathering of maybe 8 to 12-ish in our house on a Tuesday morning. You got tea, coffee, biscuit, whatever, and it was a reading, a discussion, songs, and we had praise books. I remember them, it was white books, A4 size paper, sort of all stapled together in those days, and photocopied, we all had them. Muriel Vogt was there, she played the guitar, and Rosemary came, and Doris was there, and as well, and I remember them all, Janet Henry, lots of them. As well, St. Paul. It was lovely, and I liked that. So she said, this is every Tuesday. So Rosemary and I went every Tuesday. And then it was to go to church. So that kept us, and I didn't go. And Isabel, it came up. And this, when you're under attack and you go all defensive, you're not Christian. Yes, well, this is a Christian country. This is good. I am. Have you ever committed your life to Christ? No, but we all know we're not Islam. We're not Buddhist. We're Christians. But is it personal? Well, no. Like you're born to it, you're right. So Isabel says, but you can be led personal to God. Isabel got it. So I said, yeah. She says, would you like to do that? I said, yes. Yes, I would. And seriously did. So, and it was halfway between our front door. You went up some stairs, then turned, then went up to the living bit. It was halfway up, and we prayed there, and I had become a Christian there that day, I suppose, and I went and told Margaret Upton and May Forbes, and they were all happy. And little did I know, that same afternoon, that Janet Henry was at Rosemary's doing exactly the same at the same time. It was just so, and I thought, and I was telling folk, and they were, and I thought, no, you can laugh if you want. I'd done lots of laughing before it, or nothing wrong with me. I don't need God, I don't need anybody, I'm fine. But you're only fine until you've got nothing. And then you need everything. And who's going to give you everything? and it all started to get better from that. And then we moved this house, and then I got baptised. It was Mr. Norman in those days. I loved Mr. Norman. He was lovely. And he died a long time ago. He lived in Ransford, but you had to go for so many weeks 6, I think, and have these little lesson things. Nice times. So I went along, and I'd been going for 4 or 5 weeks. And baptism was coming up. And it was St. Patrick's Day that it was going to be. And I thought, right, I can't do this. I can't do this. So the baptism was due on the Sunday.
Why did you feel you couldn't do it?
Because I smoked.
Right, okay.
So you can't get baptised.
Is that what you thought?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
can't do that. So I goes along, Mr. Norwood. Hi, Alison, you come. I said, I've just come to really cancel my baptism. He says, right, and why do you want to cancel your baptism? I says, well, there's 2 things. I says, I get angry and I slam doors. And the worst bit is I smoke. He says, right, yeah, smoking, that's serious, that. He says, so if you stop smoking, Alice, you're going to be perfect. Oh, I said, no, oh no, that won't make me perfect. He says, no, don't focus on what they... He said, we all have something. He says, I don't smoke. He says, but I've done and still do many things. But you just have to try hard, and you have to... you don't focus, because if you focus on one thing, you forget to look for other little faults, because you think, all I'm doing wrong is that, so if I get rid of that, I'm fine. He says, and while you're focusing just on that, you're not allowing for guarding against tripping up in other areas. He says, and you get angry and bang the door, some do it. I says, yeah, I do. He says, well, so do I. I says, oh, well. He says, so I can't tell you, you've got to come on Sunday and be baptised. He says, but I can't tell you, I've never baptised a perfect person, and I never will. He says, I'll never baptise any perfect person. But be baptised, then try better to become not a perfect person, a better, and follow in God's path. I thought, well, that makes sense. I maybe could do that. Or I could, yeah, I think I could do that. He says, well, I can't make you come. Can't make you be baptised. He says, but if you accept to come, he said, then that's great, that's wonderful. On Sunday, your baptism will take place. But if you don't want to be baptised, still come along just the same. There just won't be a baptism service until you've made yourself perfect, I suppose. And he joked. I said, well, yeah. I says, now I feel daft. He said, no, don't feel daft. He said, you're not daft. He said, there's lots of people think you've got to do this and you've got to do that and you've got to hear bells and you've got to see lights and you've got to... No, it's just as you are, just be you. And I said, oh, that's fine. So don't have to make him say, no. And it was lovely. And he gave me, the passage it's Proverbs. Now, I say it's 3:5, you know if I'm right or not. It's trust in the Lord with all your heart.
Very wonderful.
Lean not to your own understanding, but follow him and he will show you the way. Was that 3-5?
I love that. Let me get it.
Right.
It's one of my favourites. Lean not.
It's nice,
When you don't understand.
And I thought, oh, that was nice. And I got to pick a hymn which was Just As I Am. And then you weren't allowed to pick a hymn though when you were in the water, because Mr. Norman, you had to go down the steps, then you into the pool, then you got baptised, and there was a hymn for coming out of the water. And you weren't allowed to pick that one. Mr. Norman says, no, that is the hymn, and it's not up for, what was his word?
Negotiation.
Discussion. Yeah. You had to have a happy day. And it was perfect, it was lovely.
Yeah.
Happy day. And then I got to have my Just As I Am. But it was...
Was it a significant
And then
time
after that, life was different. It was 100% more difficult, more challenging, more things happened than I could imagine. But I knew not to lean on my own understanding, that, follow him. And it got me through lots of things. And all the things MS has thrown at me has been quite hard. Having to give up going along to church because, like I say, there was something every night. Monday was fabric night, Tuesday was women's auxiliary, Wednesday was the midweek fellowship, Thursday was women's own, Friday night was family night, Saturday night, Isabel Garrick, me and Pete Smith. It was a youth club, and Sunday night was church. It was every night. So I had to stop doing all that. It was hard. Because I missed it all. So missed that bit. And then bits that was going wrong with me, that. But that's all right. You get pills for that. And you just, what is it young ones say? You suck it up.
Yeah.
You suck it up. But what I can't suck up is the going blind. I am finding it the hardest challenge, harder than the house fire, harder than my heart attack, harder than MS, harder than when Mike had his stroke. He's had lots. There's only a little tiny bit left. And I'll be happy if it stays like that. If that's all I get left with. But it's a case of, oh, please God, don't take it all. That little bit. But if that's to be, that's to be. But that'll be the hardest thing ever. So a lot of people that I say to, even when the nurses are in, that's a lot of people's dread. Oh, I'd hate to lose my sight. It's and I can't read. Like if I didn't know I was going to do this today, but if I'd known yesterday and I could see, I would have worried and said, "What can I read? What can I read? What will I write?" I can't write now. I tried to write a list. It was only a list for biddy things I needed in Tesco, and I wrote the first thing, and then I wrote again, but I had written on top of the first one. I can't see, and I'm guessing putting a finger under where I've written and writing under, but it goes and it doesn't work. So I can't read and I can't write, and so I wouldn't have been able to prepare anything.
So it's perfect that Chris just asked you.
Yeah.
Because you've shared really lovely with us.
Sorry?
You've shared really special things with us. Because it's come from your heart.
It happens, couldn't look it up. And you couldn't make it up, goodness me. It's been the strangest. But we struggled, and we struggled through the fire, we struggled with things, because Now, on Facebook, he's my toy boy. Now, toy boys are supposed to be younger than me. Well, he's 85. Well, tell me, I am not over 85. But I still say he's my toy boy. Because it does his ego good.
Yes. Sure.
Because I'm 82 this year. So if I'm 82 this year and he's my toy boy, he's not really.
Yes.
85.
And how many years have you been married now?
This year, we were married in the 50s. 15. This year, this is 53. This is 23, so we've been married 64 years.
Wow.
That's a long time.
Wow.
64 years. And people say, how can you be married? I was 16 when I met Mike. I got married when I was 17. Met when I was 16. We got married when I was 17. And he was far too young, but he was a much older man. He was 19 and a half. So he was 19 and a half, much older.
And did Michael ever come to faith, Alice?
No.
But how did he feel about you?
Oh, all for it.
All for it.
And yeah, because today he was saying, I'll keep the dog out and I'll do this and I'll do that. And he said, you need everything that God will throw at you. I said, God doesn't throw it at me. And I thought, no, he meant a kind thing. I said, I do. I do.
Yeah. Alice, what would you say to someone about what living a life with God through Jesus Christ is? What would you say to them if they were to ask you, what does life with God mean? What difference has it made for you?
What does it mean? What difference does it make? I can't imagine I would survive without him. It wouldn't work. The things that go wrong with me, here I go again, me, but I don't mean that. I mean, like, I had to go, and I've got stents in my heart. Now, that would worry a person who didn't trust. But I knew I'd be home the next day, I would be fine, get the kettle on, I'll be in it, whatever. I trust, and I can trust someone who's not going to let me down. Other things, I worried when the kids, when they were teenage year, I wanted to murder every one of them at teenage time. I'm glad now I didn't, but the times of worry, of times where I felt they didn't like me one bit, but I didn't like them. I loved them. I loved them that much. I cried about them. I loved them so much, but I didn't like what they were doing. Didn't like very many of their friends. It was so difficult. And just used to pray about it and get this feeling that they're going to come out of it. And they came out being the boys. The boys could be teenagers all over again if they want. If we gave them a football and let them out, no problem with boys, the girls. The minute they got to 13, they were 13 going on 30. I knew a lot more than me. And it was difficult. And they now are 5 adult people with outstanding natures, showing love, showing generosity, showing caring, and they've all got really good jobs, professions, and they've all got their own houses, cars, good jobs. The 5 of them, and I thought, well, I couldn't have done that on my own. Like, I'm saying on my own, I mean, but just as parents, we couldn't have done that. We got help. We couldn't see it, but it's like the wind. You know it's there, and you can feel it, you can see it bending. It's not there, but it's there. Yeah. And it was like, you know God's there. Can't see him, can't touch him, but I say like the wind's all round us, we can't see it. And I wouldn't have got through that. And the teenage years, going in as rebels, the most unlikable kids, and coming out the other end, excellent adults. Proud to be proud of, not like to be proud, that's a sin there, because I am proud of them.
Yes.
And lovely people they've become. I couldn't have done that on my own.
Yeah.
And things at my work, it's difficult living with difficulties, but just knowing all I've got to do, it's only a prayer away, you know. You can have as many problems, you can have one big problem or a million small problems, or I'd be like me and have both. You just take longer to, but if you pray about it, it's only a prayer away.
And Alice, obviously, we all know none of us are going to last forever in the physical. What is it, in your own words, that you look forward to?
Oh, I will be, you have to edit this bit out, I will be running around heaven like a demented ferret. I have never walked across a room. Now, I was in my 40s when I got my MS and I'm 82, so I've hobbled around with a stick or a wheelchair or a something for half my life. So, oh, can you imagine? Yeah, it will be lovely to sit and talk to the Lord and to see family and my mum again and my sister, see them. Yeah, that'll be lovely. And music will be lovely, I think. I love music, but I love the thought I won't be shackled. I can't, every so often, everybody notices that I touch my leg. I'm checking tubes and bags that I won't have to go, oh, that bag's full, and go.
No.
I won't need to do that after 40 years. It's like the woman, she touched the hem of his garment, you know, after all these years, and she was fixed.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, it'll be time for me. That I can't remember what it's like to get up, get dressed, and knit down good news for the paper in the morning. I used to go for the paper in the robes while they were all up and getting ready. And it's years since, well, I couldn't walk down now. And if I could run across and get the bus every morning, because I was going to be late for work, I left it till the last minute and run out and get the bus and get it. I would love to do that again. So, because I'm almost shackled to a chair, on my wheelchair, if I'm outside, oh, it'll be fantastic. Then after I've run around like a demented ferret for a little while, it'll be lovely to sit in the peace and the quiet, and it won't forever. And no bad bits.
Yeah.
The bad bits will all be left.
Yeah. Thanks, Alice.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
That's